isn't ruling anything out. What do you make of this retirement talk?
Well, I think Gronk is serious. I think more so than ever before, players are in tune to their football mortality. The more information that we get as far as concussions, players taking better care of their finances. Remember, Gronk, he's talked about how he only uses his marketing money. He doesn't even touch his NFL money. Gronk has missed an equivalent of 2 years in the National Football League due to injuries. That's a lot of time. Back, forearm, knee. Those things start to accumulate over time. And Gronk suffered that concussion in the AFC Championship game. When you're in the position that Gronk is in, you start thinking about all these type of things. Can you get yourself up to do it all over again the next season? As you get older, it gets harder and harder. I went through the same thing. I tore my Achilles in the playoffs my last year. Went to the offseason, and I just said, you know what? It's just I can't get myself to do it anymore. It becomes too much. And I think Gronk is in that position now where he's starting to really think about it. We all had this perception of Gronk. He's a fun-loving dude, likes to party, make all these jokes. But at the end of the day, Gronk is just like any other human being, any other football player, where you have to start thinking about life after football.
I think you're right, but I also think that this is something that's relatively new. I don't think that this has been something that's been on his mind for the last year, even 2 years or so. I think that concussion, with all the injuries that he's had, I think the concussion really, really messed with them. To be woozy, to not have your equilibrium available to you, to not have all your bearings under you per se. I definitely think that resonated because what I saw from him in the AFC Championship game, I didn't see that yesterday, but he got hit one time yesterday. He didn't seem like himself for a little bit. He seemed a little bit woozy at one point. They only had one catch for 9 yards in the first half. I think in the second half, what was it, about 8 catches for 107 yards, if I remember correctly. So you got that going on. 2 of those touchdown catches was against Darby. 6 different defenders were going up against him. He's got a lot to deal with, not to mention the fact that at that tight end spot, especially in the New England Patriots system, you're constantly throwing up at the kind of action that they get going across the middle and what have you. That's bad enough. But then take into account the fact that he's not a Shannon Sharp type or somebody like that. Not necessarily short, but not that tall and stocky and all that stuff. Right. Gronkowski is 6'7". So you got to remember that folks customarily are going to hit him low just because he's 6'7". So you got all of that to worry about. And then on top of it all, you're going to get woozy because you got knocked upside the head a couple of weeks ago going through that concussion protocol. We don't really know the nuances of how invasive that is. I take his retirement talk very, very seriously. I think it's something that he's strongly considering. But I think because they lost the Super Bowl, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he decided to come back next season.
Here's one thing I will add, too. I think because he just lost the Super Bowl, I've always said that sometimes you got to take it with a grain of salt because you're emotional. You just lost, Super Bowl. Now, if he's having these same talks a couple months from now,
yeah, it's different.
Then now it's a totally different ball game.
Go ahead, Max.
With apologies to Kellen Winslow and Tony Gonzalez and a couple of others, Gronkowski is the best, is to me the greatest tight end I've ever seen. He's the guy I'd want on my team. And I would like to say it's a pleasure to watch him play, but I hate watching him play because, I hate those Patriots and their fans. But Gronkowski is something else. I mean, even the coaching, like, what adjustments did Belichick make at halftime? Hey, Brady, throw the ball to Gronkowski. He's always open. Even if he's covered, he's open. So he's just been an amazing player. But the way in which he's been an amazing player, guys, reminds me of a guy like Earl Campbell, an all-time great running back, Gronkowski is an all-time great with a brutal, fearless style, and as a result of that brutal, fearless style, Earl Campbell is a cautionary tale. Physically, what the price you pay later in life. Can't walk, has all kinds of problems. The great Earl Campbell, who watches football doesn't love Earl Campbell. And I think that enough is known nowadays, as you said, Damien, Gronkowski, hey, big, fun-loving guy and all this and that, but you get your bell rung enough and you go through enough injuries as he's gone through with that kind of style, and, you're worried about your own mortality and the quality of your life, and I think Gronk is wise to consider that stuff right now.